Hello everyone and welcome back to JB's Total Gaming, and today's a special day for me. I'm a channel that likes to look at board games and video games, and here we have a board game, well, card game that I've enjoyed quite a bit coming out on Steam for the PC as a video game. So this is a day I should be pretty excited about, but well, I do have kind of mixed feelings. So we're taking a look at Smash Up today. It does have multiplayer available. There's not a lot of people available in the multiplayer right now. It is an early access game, you have to bear that in mind. There is a tutorial available. I don't really recommend it. If you don't know much about this game, I suggest looking at a video of how to play the actual board game. There are several good videos as far as that is concerned, but we're going to go a little bit into the gameplay. I'm not going to get too into the gameplay or what I think about the game. It is a game I enjoyed quite a bit. I feel like it's more enjoyable after you have some of the expansions and more factions available, but it's a game that I kind of played enough and I'm kind of done with at this point, but it is a game I enjoyed quite a bit initially. So we're going to jump in and not get too much into the gameplay, but just give you an idea of how the game works if you're not familiar with it. Basically, the whole point of Smash Up is that you pick two different factions, and then each faction has its own deck. You shuffle up those two faction decks, and then you play the game with those. So we're going to go ahead with ninjas first. Our opponent will pick one, and then we'll pick another one. I haven't played with the nerds before. They were kind of a weird kind of solo expansion thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick dinosaurs and ninjas, and it looks like my opponent did as well. So, but you know what, that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to be too focused on what I'm doing as far as the gameplay goes. Here we're going to be talking about the game itself. So, real quick overview if you're not familiar with it. Basically, you draw your hand and you see we have ninjas and dinosaurs here. You have minion cards and action cards. On your turn, you can play one action and one minion. At the end of your turn, you'll draw two cards. You play them to bases. When the total value of power at these bases get to a certain point, those bases will score based on certain rules. So this one give you 4 points for first player, 3 for second, and then 2 for third if we had at least 3 players. Some of them do special things, like this one gives you 1 for every minion here, thematically going with the zombies, so on and so forth. Overall, the game itself isn't too difficult, so let's go ahead and play a small minion here. Now, this works alright, and one of the worst things about Smash Up is having to keep track of everything. There's lots of different cards that might affect other cards, so on and so forth. So, because, like this one, ongoing, a minion is +2 power, so if we played this action on this guy, which we're not going to do right now, then we'd have a total of 4 power here, and then when we get to 24, the base will score. Those are the basics of the game, but there are a lot of interactions. So now that this is available on PC, basically you can allow the game to do those interactions for you. That's great. So here we have the dinosaurs. In general, they have big minions. This is one of the bigger minions in the game. He doesn't have any special effects. He's just 7 power, which is pretty nice. So, like I said, we're not going to be too focused on what we're, let's see here. I don't know. We'll go up here. And actually, this is one of the things about the game. You can turn this off, this proceed button. I'm going to leave it on right now just because it's kind of nice when I'm talking about the game to have those pauses so that we can see what the computer's doing. So they play this one card, and we'll play a card out here again, and we're going to go ahead and just end our turn again. I'm not going to focus too much on the gameplay. So looking at the game overall, what do I think about it? Well, first I want to talk about the pricing structure of the game. So they played this Survival of the Fittest. It is an early access game. There are only, at this point, the 3 factions that you start with, and then 2 factions available to buy. You can buy them individually for $2, or you can buy the starter pack that will have 6 factions eventually as these factions come out. And if you're not familiar with early access in computer games, basically you can play the game, but the content isn't complete, and as the content comes out, there will be an updates available to you. But if you want to play the game early and support it early, you can go ahead and do that. So they played that. We'll hit proceed. They'll draw cards, and then it'll be our turn. I do like that the screen changes color based on the player. That's kind of cool. But basically, you can get the starter pack for $9 if you want. That will start off with the 2 factions that they have available in addition, and eventually give you 6 factions. So whether or not you think that's a good pricing structure is up to you. I did a review a while ago for the what was it? The Pathfinder Adventure card game, saying how I didn't really like the pricing structure in that game. A lot of people really disagreed with me. They said, well, it's cheaper than the original, than it would be for the actual game. So I get that, but maybe because I'm used to PC gaming on Steam, and I'm used to really getting inexpensive games for, good games at an inexpensive price. For me, I didn't necessarily think that it was worth it. But again, it's one of those things that it will vary depending on what you're used to and what you expect. And if you think that's worth it, then that's totally up to you. Now, but obviously this is a way to play the game for less than the actual, physical card game would be. Now, here's the thing. This game only has a 50% positive value rating on Steam by the users. So if you can go to Steam for PC, check this out. That's a really low rating. And the biggest complaint is the user interface. There are people complaining certain card interactions don't work right, which you might expect some of that in an early access game. Hopefully they'll fix that. I haven't experienced that too much, but then again, I haven't really played all that much. And just as I'm playing against Fred, I have a friend of my board gaming group named Fred who loves this game, and his family loves this game, so that's kind of fitting. But the thing about this game is, yeah, I feel like the interface is okay. It's functional. Like I said, I like how it keeps track of all that stuff, but at the same time, it's very basic. It, in my opinion, is about as minimal functional as I would expect it to be. It's a little bit clunky at points, and it's okay at best. So it's going to be up to you if you think that's worth your while. Now, you can definitely check out this game. It is free. You can only play as those 3 factions if you want to check it out. And if you're familiar with the game, then you should have a pretty good idea of how it functions already. If you're not, you can check it out for free. Hey, it's a card game you can try, for free. But overall, I feel like if there aren't some major improvements to the interface, I'm going to have a hard time really recommending it very highly. It's okay, it's functional, and that seems to be something I seem to be saying about a lot of board game implementations. They're functional. I feel like it could be a little flashier, I feel like it could be a little bit better designed, but it overall does what it wants to do, and I totally understand kind of why there is those mixed feelings. There are definitely some people that really like it, and then there are some people who feel like it's too clunky, it's just doesn't play all that well. Here's what I will say. Overall, I think it's alright. If you're not familiar with the game, don't learn it by the tutorial. Watch a video on how to play the physical card game. It is not a bad game, but you're going to want to play online, but there's no penalty for leaving online. There's a few issues unless you have a bunch of friends over at your house who want to play this game. So it's worth checking out if you're really into the game. If you're not really into the game, this isn't the best implementation I've ever seen, but then again, it may be something that you really like if you haven't checked it out. But basically, this is how the gameplay works. I'm gonna play a card, maybe play an action, and do my turn. But the big thing about this game, the really big thing, is that what's really fun is trying out all the different combinations of factions, and you can't really do that right now. There's only a few factions available. There will be more available eventually, so I can't really recommend this in early access. If you really want to get your fix, then you can try it out, but you know what, let's go ahead and do this. Let's actually destroy that. Then go ahead and check it out. You might really enjoy it, but you're not going to really get the full-fledged action of the game, if you will, trying out all the different crazy combinations that you can do. So overall, a functional game. Not a lot of content. If you're super excited about Smash Up, then you can go ahead and check it out. If you're not necessarily all that interested in it, I would say definitely at least wait until there's more content, because really there's only so much you can do with the factions that are available, and even if you buy the starter pack, there's only 2 available right now. So hopefully they'll improve the user interface a little bit. Hopefully other factions will come out quickly, and then maybe this will be worth more of a look. But I thought I'd let you know that it's out there, it's available if you're into Smash Up and you want to check it out, or if the gameplay looks interesting, which I feel like you can only do so much with it right now, but it still might be appealing, and it is free, so it's not really going to hurt you that much. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll be back again soon with more video and board game content, and maybe cross-ups between the two. See, like a Smash Up. Hey, there you go. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.